Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Department of Neurosurgery, I would like to welcome you all to the 7th AIMS Annual Neurotrauma Conference. We are delighted to have you here with us in this academic extravaganza. And we would like to start the inauguration ceremony. I would start first by inviting on stage our chief guest for the afternoon, that is Lieutenant General Dr. Daljit Singh. He is a AVSM awardee and also a surgeon to the President, and we are delighted to have him here with us. So please come on stage. Okay. May I please also welcome on stage our officiating head of the department, Professor Sarat Chandra, Professor A.K. Mahapatra, sir. So please. Professor Deepak Gupta, sir, Organizing Secretary. And I think Professor Rajesh Malhotra is yet to join us.
Yes, come, sir, come.
Thank you, sirs. Welcome to the 7th annual conference. And we would like to start by first presenting to you with a small token of our appreciation.
I now request the dignitaries to light the lamp and grace the occasion. It will be followed by the Saraswati Vandana.
श्वेत पद्मासन
Thank you, dignitaries, for gracing the occasion. I now invite Professor Sharat Chandra to give his opening remarks.
Greetings, everybody. Lieutenant General Daljit Singh Ji, Honorable Chief Guest, Professor A.K. Mahapatra, our ex-chief, Professor Malhotra, Professor Deepak Gupta, all the honorary dignitaries in the audience. It indeed gives us a great pleasure to welcome you all to the 7th Annual Neurotrauma Conference. Neurotrauma, as you know, happens to be one of the key tenets for the Department of Neurosurgery. We have one of the best trauma centers in the country where we manage and operate a huge numbers of neurotrauma. And it has become a very important component, not only for the management, but also for public awareness, for a 360 degrees view. And organizing conferences like this are very important, not only for education of neurosurgeons, residents, also the younger faculty, but also for public awareness, which I'm happy to note that Professor Deepak Gupta has organized a very good public awareness program. So I wish all of you to have a wonderful experience of this feast, scientific feast, which is going to happen for the next 2 days. And I thank once again for all of you for having come to this conference and making it a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chandra, for your kind words. I now request Dr. Rajesh Malhotra to address the gathering.
Good afternoon. Chief guest for the day, Lieutenant General Daljit Singh, AVSM, VSM, PHS, DGFMS, Dr. Mahapatra, Dr. Sharat, Dr. Deepak Gupta, all the faculty members, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I stand proud here in front of you as a leader of the best institution in trauma in the country, like Dr. Sharat said. We get about 70,000 walk-in or brought-in patients every year. We are able to admit about 10% of them. We operate on about 8,000. About 10% are operated for head injuries. And we recently did an audit of Holi, which is a big function and a lot of crowd there. And we saw that we had out of 360 patients who reported, about 20 were serious head injuries. We saw that the time to CT was 1 hour and time to theater after admission was 2.5 hours, which is actually at par with the best of the world standards by NICE and everywhere. Still, we are not happy about this figure because although that is the accepted standard, it just sounds a bit too much for a patient with serious head injury to be taken to theater in 2.5 hours. But then our neurosurgeons, they admit about 700 to 800 patients in ICU. They have 67 HTU and ICU beds. And we see about 480. Last year we saw 480 pediatric head injury patients, so that's a big number. Our neurosurgeons are able to do a great job under the guidance of the main department. We work as a unit as far as neurosurgery at AIMS, at trauma and main department is concerned. But then they do have the luxury of a lot of facilities. We have portable CT machine in the ward. We have the CT, MRI, ORM, operating microscope, cranial endoscopy. We have the best of the radiology equipment, and for everything else they just have to ask, because our job is just to make sure that they get everything which they need. Now, you heard about the services we provide. Actually, AIMS has a trinity of mission of the patient care, research, and teaching. And we focus on every aspect of head injury, right from the getting imaging done and operating to rehabilitation. Our dietitians put up a monograph on the enteral nutrition for patients in ICU, how to keep up their nutrition. Our physiotherapists, they have special equipment for rehabilitating the spine injured patients. And then there is, above all, there is a lot of commitment. About research, we are looking at the artificial intelligence, and I'm sure in this conference also also will be looking at the new aspects of research in the traumatic brain injury patients. And like Dr. Sharath said, apart from this trinity, we do other things also. We have, thanks to Deepak, we have a great transplant program. You know, it's very passionately driven by him. We have a TPM conference with the Spanish delegation here, and we are trying to improve our disease donation program thanks to efforts by the team at the trauma center. We also generate awareness, the public talks, lectures. We also talk about the seat belt, the airbags, the etiquettes, as well as the other aspects for preventing the injury. 120 faculty members, I am told. Out of them, 20 are international. I welcome all of you. A very important part of the things other than trauma which we do is also taking care of the mental health and helping everybody cope with the stress. I think that's a very important part for doctors in general, surgeons in particular, and I think neurosurgeons for it is even more important. So these words, I again thank you all for coming here, and I hope that in these couple of days we will work together, learn from each other, try to improve the trauma care in the country so that the trauma care in India becomes the best in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Malhotra, for your encouraging words. I now request Professor A.K. Mahapatra to address the gathering.
Good afternoon and welcome. Lieutenant General Daljit Singh Ji, the chief guest this occasion, Dr. Rajesh, the chief of the trauma center, Dr. Sharath, Dr. Padma, Dr. Deepak, Brigadier Sahu, Brigadier Madan, all our delegates from outside India, Indian delegates and friends. I think when I come back to AIMS and this auditorium, it takes back about almost 45 years or 50 years, because I spent 42 years in this hospital. And when I came here, this hospital has only 500 beds. Today probably this has 4,000 beds. There are no trauma center, there is no cancer center, there is no neuro center, nothing was there. From there, we have come here. And the purpose was it was 18th of June, 1956, the AIMS Act was entered in the Parliament. By that time, the health minister was Rajkumari Amritkar. And it was the vision of Ms. Rajkumari Amritkar to have an excellent center for which the India should feel proud of. Good medical education, excellent patient care, and world-class research. And the question was, this bill was not approved, because the budget which was supposed to be given to the AIMS construction was little high, and the Minister of Finance returned it that they will not be able to afford for it. So little amendment was made from 18 June 1956 to I think after 2 months. So budget session, then in the next session, winter session, the bill was approved. And same year, the students were taken, 1956. So if you look at the journey for last 75 years or so, this institute has remained as #1 in the country and one of the best center. It's considered 5th best center so where the patient care, patient load is concerned in the world. In 2022, there's a comparison between Harvard Medical School and AIMS. When they consider the amount of money and the patient care, they consider AIMS score over Harvard Medical School. Because the amount of money you spend here is nothing as compared to the money you spend in, you go to website and see what is the beautiful comparison between Harvard Medical School and AIMS Delhi. And we are fortunate that I have worked here. I thank Dr. Sharath and Department of Neurosurgery. We have been involved in patient care, research and all facets. And this was because of vision of Dr. Tandon, who joined directly as a professor from KGMU. He had vision, he has interest, he has dedication, and he has positive attitude. Because if you have everything and no attitude, nothing is going to happen. So it was right for Professor Tandon and Dr. Banerjee. Dr. Banerjee joined few days after Professor Tandon. Dr. Tondon had joined as HOD neurosurgery professor, first appointed professor, and there are 2 chairs and a table. One chair for Professor Baldev Singh, so he was sitting because he came 4 days before Dr. Tondon. And when Dr. Tondon came, Dr. Baldev Singh, who was the professor head neurosurgery, he said, Prakash, I am welcoming you, you can take a chair and sit opposite to me. So 2 HODs were sitting 2 chairs, in between was a table. So if you look from there to till today, it will be practically impossible people sitting here that a professor neurosurgery and neurology were sharing 2 chairs and 1 table. The question is that, how did you do it? This is where the $1 million question. It is intention, dedication, and a lot of hard work. If you look at my residency, I was in general surgery, I did 7-year residency. 4 years of general surgery and 3 years of neurosurgery. My professor, Dr. BML Kapoor and Dr. Nandi used to say, if you are a surgeon, you can manage 3 days without food, only with water. If you survive working continuously for 72 hours, only with water or tea or some liquid, then a good surgeon. If you then get tired, if you say I am tired in 24 hours, 16 hours, you cannot become a surgeon. This is the concept of hard work of this institute, and the results is in front of you. Nobody has better the results of AIMS in India and very few centers abroad. So I feel proud that I am a part of it. Now coming to Dr. Deepak and all this, I also feel very, very happy and privileged that this department does a lot of academic and research activity. You have seen the epilepsy center, you have seen the trauma center, you have the skill development lab. A large number of things have developed. In 1983, we took about 60-70 lakhs of rupees for neural transplant project. Dr. Tondon was the chief investigator, as a co-investigator. We removed the fetal brain from the monkeys and the rats and put in thousands of rats to see whether the rat brain takes embryonic brain from the 13 days old rat embryo. Then we take 3 months monkey embryo, getting the monkeys from CDRI. So question is that the lot of quality publications are published from this department. I think our department average publish about 20 papers a year, and I think I have to thank all the faculty. Today probably there are 25 faculty, and when I just retired in 2016, I had asked for 11 or 12 extra faculty because I knew that everybody in this institute say we have everything except time. So I say at least our department people should not tell we have no time, because we have 27 faculty posts for the around about 200 beds. So I think we have right infrastructure, government gives us a lot of money, and more importantly, we have survived to the expectation of people of India. Thank you very much. I congratulate yes again to the department, my own colleagues and friends, and they should keep on doing good work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, very much for that wonderful brief history of neurosurgery at AIMS New Delhi. And now I'd like to call upon the chief guest to address the gathering and say a few words.
Professor Mahapatra, Professor Malhotra, Professor Sharat Chandra, Professor Deepak Gupta, Professor Madan, the neurosurgeons from across the globe, including those from armed forces, Brigadier Bhatoi, Brigadier Sahu and others. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be present at the inauguration of 7th AIMS Annual Neurotrauma Conference. On the booklet of the program schedule, I saw a footnote. Time is precious, best time to deliver your message is 10 minutes. This goes true in respect of many life-threatening emergencies as well. The concept of golden hours is changing into golden minutes. Trauma victims do not decide which portion of body will get the maximum impact. Despite the bony covering, brain and spinal cord often receive the hit. And the neurosurgeon need to intervene before the neuronal injury has become irreversible. Thanks to the concept of early stabilization of respiratory and cardiovascular systems, better availability of neuroimaging modalities, medical interventions for reducing brain edema and brain-oriented resuscitation. The neurosurgeons get a window to decide whether the plan of management is in a systematic manner. The age-old dilemma of to open or not to open is not so ambiguous now. Of course, the issues of spinal cord injury continue to remain more complex. The advances in neurosurgical skills of neurosurgeons have kept pace with advances in diagnostic and therapeutic interventions. And I must pay my compliments to the neurosurgeons across the globe for their relentless pursuit of excellence in management of traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injury. As in all other disciplines, the training and building of team of next generation, Professor Mahapatra was talking about it just now, it's very important. The next generation should be trained, and it's an important responsibility to present generation, and the next generation should be better than the previous generation. When I see my students or my junior colleagues saving a baby who is 24 weeks old, which I did not when I was actively involved in neonatology, I feel proud of them. So similar sense of pride and achievement should be passed on to the next generation of teams. And a conference such as this, it is a step in that direction. And while we try to reach the zenith of professional competence, we must retain our humility, know our limitations, and leave the task of playing God only to God. Neurosurgical services at AIIMS are doing a great work in neurosurgical management as well as training. A number of armed forces medical services neurosurgeons have been trained here and are doing a great work in services of armed forces personnel and their families. I am very fond of Love and Daily textbook of surgery, not only for its text, but the verses that it contains. I have made a similar attempt. I have called it a neurosurgeon's assurance. If you receive a knock to your head, my dear, our algorithms of management are very clear. If you are dead, to heavens you go. Whither go survivors, their GCS will show. We drain the blood, we keep the head cool. And the management is same in every medical school. From the jaws of death to snatch you back, we use everything we hold in our pack. With God, good Lord above and neurosurgeons below, leave all care to us sleeping in your pillow. My compliments to all of you as great leaders and great healers. My best wishes that this conference may achieve its stated objectives. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for those wonderful words. And I would now request Professor Rajesh Malhotra to give a small token of our appreciation to the chief guest. May I now request Professor Deepak Gupta to give the vote of thanks.
Albert Schweitzer, a German philosopher, once said, sometime our light goes away and it is blown into flame by somebody else. It is rekindled by somebody else. And I think we have got so many stalwarts here who have rekindled the flame of knowledge amongst us in these next 4 days. On behalf of Department of Neurosurgery, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, it's my proud honor and privilege to welcome and to propose a vote of thanks to our distinguished chief guest, Lieutenant General Daljit Singh Ji. At a very short notice, he accepted our invitation to be the chief guest, so thank you so much for gracing the occasion. I would like to also thank my chief, Professor Rajesh Malhotra, sir, whom I have been bothering for last many years, and he's always kind enough to listen to our needs, and he's always, yes, we will do it. And that's why the neurotrauma care is advanced so much in trauma center, thanks to his support of which we have. Professor A.K. Mahapatra is my guru, my teacher for last 23 years, actually, to be very precise. I mean, I entered into neurosurgery and he was my first teacher whom I met, and he trained us, and whatever I am today is because of him. I would also like to thank Professor P.S. Chandra, the officiating head of the department today, and he has led the Department of Neurosurgery at various fronts, and so thank you so much for being with us. I would also like to propose a vote of thanks to all the doctors from the armed forces. Actually, it was the idea of Brigadier H.S. Bhatoi many years back that we should have a dedicated 2-hour session in this neurotrauma meeting. And sir, for the last many years, we have been doing regular armed forces medical services session every year, year by year. And all the officers are quite gracious and kind enough to come and deliver and deliberate with us at this occasion. Thank you so much, everybody. I would like to also thank Professor Padma Srivastav. She is the Chief of Neurosciences Center. Ma'am, because of you, we are here. Thank you so much for being present here. This meeting is very, very special and very different from the rest of the meetings because it's the first time in the history of All India Institute of Medical Sciences that we are doing a transplant procurement management course, a TPM course, conducted by a dedicated team of professionals who have come all the way from Spain, from Italy, from USA, from Portugal, and Japan and other countries. And we are deliberating over various issues, how we can improve upon the brain death certification, how we can improve the number of donations per patient, and what is it that is lacking in our country which we can enforce. And I hope from this meeting we'll take it further. Thank you, Chloe, and your team for coming all the way. Professor Wilco Paul, he has come all the way from Holland just for 20 hours. Only for 20 hours he has come here to deliver the prestigious Graham Teasdale oration, and we'll be listening to him soon. Of course, all the distinguished faculties and the residents who are there, thank you so much. Professor Nakagawa, I missed out your name, and Dr. Anna Teresa, thank you so much. My entire team, I'm joined by, I'm just the face who's standing in front of you, Professor Sachin Borkar, who's co-organizing secretary, Dr. Kokala Panit, Raghav Singla, Nidisha, and so many people who have been working tirelessly for this conference. Thank you so much. My office staff, Dinesh, Kaveri, Sheila, and Mr. Batra, who has been looking after all the audiovisual activities, our caterers and our sponsors. You know, no meeting can actually happen without the support of the sponsors. So I would say the list is actually endless. There are many, many names I will miss out in the interest of time, but all I can say is thank you everybody who is a part of this conference. Jai Hind.
I would now request everyone to stand up for the national anthem.
Janagana mana adhinayaka jaya he Bharat bhagya vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय जय जय
Thank you, everyone. We'll be restarting with the academic activities very soon.
मैडम से पूछ लो, मैडम लेक्चर लेना चाहती है ओरिजिन? ये सब